Okay, so I'm going to run through this stuff quickly. It's just a couple things that are related to very, very important photography, okay? And the person that wrote the book chapter on photography in the Pure Up and Facial Aesthetic book, he's a graduate from New York. Very, very great guy. His name's Walt. He's semi-retired now, but he still comes out to the courses to help people out. And he's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to set up a photography system that you guys can replicate in your offices to give you photos, okay? In this space here, you don't want to be the dentist that's going around taking photos with your iPhones and this and that, okay? If you want to do it on your friends and family, by all means, that's fine. If you want to do it as a business, then you have to do things according to standards, right? In this space here, like I said, you got to be professional with the way that you take photos. So there's a little section here for you guys, and tomorrow, I don't know if I have the sheet, I think I have it at the end. You're going to have a sheet of 7 stations you have to go through, and you're going to have to get a signature from one of the educators of every single section. So your job tomorrow is you got to go to the booth to do microneedling with Pure X. You got to go to the booth and do Pure Up hair injections with Dr. Davies. You got to go to the booth and do biofillers with Jared and Julio, and you got to go to the booth and do photography with Walt. Okay, so you're going to go through all these stations throughout the day, and your job is to make sure that you have all signatures at the end of the day, and then we're going to submit your CE certificates once you complete it, okay? Who here has to leave early? Like, who's got a flight out at before 3 p.m.? Is there anybody? You got a flight out before 3? What time are you leaving at? 2:30 is your flight? Is it still on? No, that's the real question. You'll have to work fast. Okay? The airport is obviously only 5 minutes away. You can definitely get everything done by 1 if you're really booking it. Okay? But we want you to get through all the stations, so we'll make sure, like I said, that you get through everything. Okay? And we'll have different people make sure that you get through everything quickly. Okay, so these are a lot of our co-authors for the book. And of course, they've helped us out. A lot of them you're going to find floating around here. Obviously, Dr. Davies is the most important person that was the main lead editor on the book. Walt wrote the chapter on photography. We're going to go through this quickly, okay? What I told Walt, this was years ago, probably 2018, I said, Walt, that's him right there. You'll meet him tomorrow. I said, you need to set up a station that's like dummy-proof for very simplistically taking photos that we need to for facial aesthetics. He's like, okay, I can do that. And the way he set it up is he's got 3 flashes, okay? And the flashes take up about 6 to 8 feet, that's it. And very, very important, I'm just going to show it because I don't want to waste too much time, so that Dr. Davies can get up here. These is the necessary equipment, okay? These slides are all available in the Dropbox folder. This is the equipment you're going to buy. It's listed in the slides as well. Don't worry about writing it down. Like I said, it's in an email. You guys have access to all this stuff. And this is the setup, okay? So in a nutshell, Walt is going to set this up tomorrow. You're going to have a background. It can either be a white wall or you can get a backdrop. You're going to have a chair that's about 2 feet away with a flash here. The patient's going to sit there. Okay, this is 6 feet here. Camera there. This is the flashes that you're going to get in the exact settings. As you can see here, this whole setup's about $500. If you don't have this exact camera, that's no problem at all. Okay, most dentists and most people here have high-end cameras. Walt has every camera imaginable in the book, okay? For fun, this part-time, you know what he does? He's got this setup. You let him know that you have this camera, a Nikon, blah, 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 okay? With this lens, he probably has it. If he doesn't have it, he'll probably buy it. I kid you not. That's how obsessed he is with this. He'll replicate it and get you all the settings that you need to take proper photos in your own office. Okay? He's a great resource to have. Everybody on our team absolutely loves him. Older gentleman, and great to have him. So he's coming in later tonight, and there's going to be one aesthetic rotation or one photography rotation tomorrow for you guys to take. Okay? Photos are very important because, like I said, we can see fine lines and wrinkles. This was a setup. He's going to probably bring this tomorrow and measure it out. But obviously, you guys are going to measure this out. In your office, if you have the space to do this and a room dedicated to it, that's fantastic, okay? If you don't, what we typically recommend doing is pick a day that you want to do a set of treatments in your office. So let's say you want to do Friday afternoon, okay? And you're going to start off, you got your practice, and Friday afternoons you're going to start doing these treatments. Set up the photography setup in your waiting room. Because you're only going to be seeing, let's say, one patient an hour to start, you can set it up there, take the photos properly, get used to taking these photos properly, and then, one day it's then going to be, instead of half a day, it'll be a full day, and then maybe it'll be a Thursday, Friday, and, you can pick and choose how you want to do it, okay? But you got to take good photos. Very, very important for documentation and also for legal purposes. If in the event that you set up your photography room setup and you got everything according to the plans and you're still finding you're having a little bit of difficulty, my best advice to you is hire a photographer to come into your office. It takes literally 2 or 3 hours for them to make everything perfect for you. You can beat around with this stuff all day long. Okay, a photographer will come into your office and get perfect photos for you, and it costs $50 an hour times 2 or 3 hours, well worth it, okay? Like I said, these photos are very, very important. Okay, we have the informed consents available to everybody. Okay, so those are in the Dropbox as well. Okay, very important to get those signed out, and we give those to everybody to make sure you're doing that properly. We have both the DermaPen consent forms as well as the PureF, the Keracetic consent forms that we use available there. When you take these photos, make sure that the hair is out of the face. So obviously we have not bandanas, but headbands for our patients. Ideally, they don't want to be wearing any makeup at all, okay? So if they have a little bit on, sometimes we'll take the photos, but ideally no makeup at all. It's amazing, you tell every female to come to the office with no makeup on, 90% of them still show up with makeup on, okay? So you're gonna have to get them to remove the makeup before taking these photos. Okay. All right, these are the photos you're gonna take. Everybody here is going to take these photos tomorrow with somebody else. When you're in your group of 3, at some point the 3 of you are going to go to that station, and you're going to rotate one at a time. One person's going to sit down on the chair, another person's going to take the 17 photos needed, and you're just going to rotate in your little group of three to get these photos done, and Walt's going to sign off that you actually had it done. Okay? There's going to be a little swivel chair, and these are the photos that will be taken. Okay, relaxed and active views, frontal, sagittal, 45 degrees. It's a lot easier just to look at them, okay? This is what you're going to be taking photos of, okay? And we'll have printed copies of this so you guys can go through them with Walt, step by step, okay? Frontal view, side view, sagittal view. There's certain rules and regulations for what you're looking for in every one of these photos. Walt will coach you along with that tomorrow. Again, you have all these slides available in that Dropbox, so you guys have all this, but these are the upper, lower, left, and right borders. It's pretty straightforward. When you do the 45-degree one, this is the one where people often make mistakes. The only thing you're looking for here, in the opposite border, you're looking to see their cheekbone, okay? That's probably the one people make the most mistakes on. So when you rotate, the camera that's taking the photo should see this cheek, just a little bit, okay? If they rotate too much and you no longer see that cheek, you're too far. So it's taken this way here. In an official office, if you have a room, what most people do, which is very, very convenient, you put little stickers on the wall, okay? So we have like this little orange sticker here, a little yellow sticker there, and the girls will be like, okay, rotate and look at the orange sticker. When they rotate, as long as they stay straight and look at the orange sticker, they're exactly at 45 degrees, right? Rotate and look at the yellow sticker, they rotate, boom, you take the photo, and then the same thing on the other ways. Okay, so these are the relaxed poses, and then there's going to be dynamic poses, so we're going to contract the neck. This is to see all the platysma bands that you see there and other lines that may appear. Smile, okay, you'll see a lot of the crow's feet as well when you smile, and other lines. And then forehead up is one of them. Scrunch your nose. Squint like you're in a sandstorm to see the crow's feet, and eyebrows up, okay? A lot of times, additionally, we'll take one photo where the patient will literally just pull their cheeks. We have them do that as well, because as you do more and more laser therapy, when that starts tightening up, they can't, stretch out as far, and you can actually see a difference, okay? This is just a couple of key words for you guys, because in our space it might not be, a lot of people don't know these names necessarily, and Catherine Davies will fly through these quickly. So crow's feet, glabella lines, owl of the nose, and we have Cupid's bow. Okay, when you're learning how to do the different injections, these are areas that your educators will reference often. You're able to inject liquid Pure F into pretty much all of these regions, okay? And then Dr. Davies will talk about where you can inject biofillers, okay? Liquid Pure F papule injections can be performed anywhere on the face. It's very, very safe, and we use very short 4mm needles. The biofillers are more deeper plane injections, and you've got to be a little bit more careful with those. Good idea to have a hand mirror when you're taking these photos as well. Reason why, you'll tell your patient to scrunch like a bunny, and they'll make all kinds of weird faces, have no idea what they're doing. If they actually have a mirror with them and they look at themselves, they'll know right away how to make those poses. So good idea to have a hand mirror in the photography room as well. And like I said, on a patient consult, a lot of times it's great to have these photos for two reasons. One of them is obviously for documentations before and after, the wow effects when you do these cases, etc. But another thing is that some of these patients, not necessarily print them, but we'll put them on an iPad and put a patient in a room, and they can scan through the photos, and they're not used to seeing themselves, scrunched this way or the side of their face, or they may not like, something, and that can start a conversation up by them just observing the photos, right? And then you can talk about options and ways to treat those different areas. Okay, I'm going to skip through this because I want to talk to it.
Did you ever throw a smile picture in there just to talk about that too?
The smile?
Did you ever do one of those in the composite or no?
What do you mean by smile? Oh, like together?
Yeah, when you're showing them the pictures of their face or sitting there with the iPad, because sometimes then they might also say like, oh, and I also want to, do some.
Yeah, I mean, we would do that with different people in the dental clinic, but in my facial clinic, we don't do that. This is the needle here. Okay, so you can see the 12 microneedling and the little filter there, so very important to use medical grade dermapen equipment. This is the direction actually. If you guys can all take a photo of this, it'd probably be worthwhile tomorrow. We're gonna have this tomorrow available as well, but this is kind of your microneedling depth charts, okay? And you'll see the depth corresponds with how thick the skin is, typically. And you're going to follow those patterns as well. Okay, so what you're going to see here is that the pattern of microneedling is always strategically done. It's always going, like if I'm doing the cheeks, upwards, outwards, diagonally. So we're trying to tighten the tissues, okay? Up, out, and then up diagonally. So we do 3 passes, try and bring that up. Does it really make that big of a difference in which direction you do this? Probably not so much, but the one reason why Dermapen always teaches it to all the assistants this way is for being able to reproduce the data, basically, right? So you want to have in your practice a technique that if your esthetician is just sitting there doing circles and going all over the place, whatever, you don't know how many passes she's done, it's not been done precise, it's different every time. If you have a systematic approach to do it exactly this way every single time, no matter which estheticians or which assistant is doing these procedures, they're always doing the same thing. Upwards, outwards, diagonally. That's 3 passes. Go to the next area, 3 passes, and away you go. Okay? Okay, there's been a lot of research on microneedling as well. I've already shown a lot of this stuff here. Okay. Good. Okay, I'm going to introduce a lot of our educators right now, just so when you see them later today, you'll know who's who. Obviously, Dr. Davies in the room. I'll introduce her in 2 seconds. And she's our lead educator. We got a lot of great people. There's Dr. Kowski. The facial book was dedicated to him for all the help that he's done for us. So you see a little note on him. These are our 2, I'll call them master injectors. These guys are great. These guys are 2 dentists that have taken every single facial program in the world, literally. These guys fly all over the world to take every course on lip fillers in the UK and in Switzerland and this and that. They go all over. They're dentists that do not do any dentistry. They've been doing facial aesthetic procedures for the last 10 years and that's all that they do, okay? Jared specifically, he teaches a great Botox and filler course, and he also does TMJ, okay? Those are the two things that he does, TMJ and facial. That's all he does in his practice. His TMJ course, for those that want to learn, he'll do a combination of prolotherapy in the TMJ with PRF and ozone. And then sometimes he uses Botox on some of the muscles and low-level laser therapy with Fotona Genova. Okay, so you can, if you're interested in that space there, he teaches a great course on that as well. We got Geir here. You're going to hear from him after lunchtime or whenever Dr. Davies is done. He came all the way from Norway to talk about skincare and the importance of this. Okay, very, very important because they can help make our procedures better. Dr. Beth Love is going to be our lip injector. You'll meet her tomorrow. If anybody wants to have their lips injected, wait to go to her station because she's real good at it, and she will teach you all the techniques related to that. We have some laser experts here. Dr. Badir and Dr. Batchelor are both, I don't know if Glenn is here yet, but they should both be here. We've got a lot of people here that can help with microneedling, pretty much everybody. Dr. Kyle is going to do some microneedling in his station, so that's Dr. Kowski's son. He does a lot of facial procedures in his clinic as well. Dr. Chikachi is going to be arriving later on this evening. So there's a lot of people here. Dr. Allen is actually from Mexico, and great guy who does a lot. He's an oral maxillofacial surgeon that focuses on aesthetics. If anybody's Spanish speaking here and prefers to do the hands-on in Spanish, he'll be a great asset, so he's always available for help, and he's a master injector as well, so he can do everything from cannulas. He's shown people how to do cannulas and other things, so great guy to do injections with as well, okay? And then we have the rest of our team, who I'm sure everybody's met. Lauren is an esthetician in a nursing school. Jeannie's a registered nurse, and then Lily is one of our coordinators in front desk at the office, so they're all here to help as well. And we have Marvin as well as Jose. A little note on these two gentlemen. Obviously, you guys have seen how talented Marvin is. Jose is equally as talented. He's got 15 years experience doing IV therapy and phlebotomy, and he's also a national phlebotomy and IV trainer. So when he comes to your office, he can certify any one of your dental assistants. If you live in a state that requires phlebotomy licensure and or you want an IV certification, he's able to provide those for them in any state in the whole country. Okay, so they're very useful people to have part of our team, and there's his IV trainer certification from all the way that expires in February 2024, and I'm sure he's going to get it renewed then. So this is the page you're going to get tomorrow. This was from the last course, but you're going to go through all the stations. There's microneedling with PRF, hair regrowth, biofillers, lasers, lip injections, facials, and IVs. Do not spend all your time on one station. Okay? In the past, people would just kind of hang around and just want to see biofillers injected after biofiller, after biofiller, after biofiller. That's fine, but make sure you get through the other stations. Okay? The day goes by extremely fast tomorrow. It's very exciting. That's point number one. Point number two, don't forget that we're playing in a blood-borne environment. Okay, so we're going to ask everybody, treat the space like it's a real clinic. Clean up after yourselves. We've got a lot of Sharpies. Make sure they all go in. Cavi wipe everything for the people that are coming in after you, right? Try and be as sterile as possible because this is a blood-borne environment, right? So I always make that comment because I want to make sure everything stays nice and clean in there. All right, we're going to bring Dr. Davies up right now.